Hello, and welcome to Season 13, Episode 5 of the Cartridge Club's Game of the Month podcast, where we bring together members of the Cartridge Club community to discuss our community playthrough.
Get ready.
If you're new to the club or are interested in participating in future months, please join our community Discord or follow us on Twitter/X at Cartridge Club NA. We love to see the hashtag Cartridge Club used whenever you talk about one of the games we've selected. Additionally, on behalf of the entire Cartridge Club community, I'd like to give a special thanks to our Patreon club backers, Joel Boyce, Kevin from Canadian Grooves, and Caleb J. Ross. To our backers and Patreon supporters, thank you. If you are interested in becoming a Patreon supporter for the Cartridge Club, please look into how to do so at patreon.com/Cartridge Club. This month, we are celebrating the superscalar arcade games of Yu Suzuki. I'm Melissa, and on behalf of our rotating pool of hosts, I'd like to thank you for listening. Joining us to talk about the game is Wiedo.
Hello.
Dr. Mullet Gaming.
Hello.
Owazrim.
Hello.
And my husband, Eric.
Hello.
All right, so there were a few games that we focused on this month. Wiedo, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about your experience with this month's game, like kind of before we sat down to play them?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Wiedo. I'm host of New Game, Old Flame podcast, where we talk about new games for old computer systems and consoles. When I saw that you going to play these Sega games, I was like, yes, that's exactly a good reason to play Outrun, at least, because I really love to play Outrun in arcades. I don't know if I ever played them as a kid in arcade, because arcades aren't that common in the Netherlands, and also these games are quite old. And I think when Outrun released, I was like 2. So I don't know. Maybe the arcades got replaced when I got into them when I was like 8 or something. So, but maybe I've seen them there. But I used to play them, or I do play them in the arcade here in Amsterdam, for the first time maybe 4 years ago. There is the big arcade, the big version of the Outrun machine, so the thing where you can sit in, like the little car one. And they also have Hang On. So I really love when I see that Outrun machine. I was thinking, okay, I have to just go in there and play it. So that's mostly the experience which I had with this game. And also I have the Game Gear cartridge of Outrun, and I played it maybe for 5 minutes. So this Cartridge Club was exactly the reason that I thought, okay, I have to play this game more now. So that's my history with the games. But the games I played this time is I played them all. Hang On, I played just in the browser, the arcade version, because I couldn't find any version, just like a new version. Space Harrier and Afterburner I both played on the 32X version, but emulated on my little Mio Mini, this one. And Outrun I played the Sega Ages version on Switch, and the Game Gear version. And last but not least, because I was like, I want to play more of these games, I started up Power Drift on the 3DS, which is also a super scalar game by Yu Suzuki. So I was like, okay, I have to play this as well, and I played through that as well. So quite a lot.
Nice. Okay, Dr. Mullet, what about your experience, and tell us about yourself?
Oh yeah, well, hey, thanks for having me on. I could go by Mr. Mullet and go by Dr. Mullet in scholar circles. So we'll go by Mr. today because we're talking about some great games. But when it's always January, I gotta hop on the QDawgs pick of the month. And going back several years, this has been a treat. But my first time on the Cartridge Club was when we were doing Revenge of Shinobi, and it was with the QDawgs. And my second time on the Cartridge Club is now with the QDawgs. So we're looking at a routine here. So
We've got a pattern.
We gotta keep this going. So, but yeah, again, thanks for having me on. It's great to be here. I'm Mr. Mullet Gaming. I'm on YouTube. I stream. I put out videos. I do whatever my weird brain handles with video games, and we try to make it fun. But regardless, taking a look at these games. So I will be honest with you. I did only play 2 of the games, but I did feel like I put a substantial amount of time in both games. So I played Outrun and Space Harrier. And going back to looking at some of the background of these games, I really didn't know too much about it. I've seen the Outrun cabinet and also a few others that we'll talk about today. But I know that these are ubiquitous arcade games back in the day. I mean, everybody wanted to play them. They're bright, shiny, and fancy. But going through, I played on the Switch, so I did the Sega Ages collection with both Outrun and Space Harrier. I tend to play a lot of my games like that. I could not find the other 2 or have access to them, which is a bummer. But that's just kind of how my setup is, and we have to roll with what we have. But I had a fantastic time playing both games, and I'm looking forward to discussing my experience. So thanks.
All right, thank you. Okay, Owazrim, what is your experience with the games, and what did you play this time?
I played all 4 of them. I beat 3 of them, but I've played them previously. I'd only beat Hang On previously, so had some fun with them. But I played on the Master System, and that's how I played them previously.
Yeah.
But last November, I went to a convention. I got to play Afterburner in they had the arcade setup, and it had the cabinet that moved, and that was one. Just the whole time I was playing, and I did horribly at it in the arcade, but it was just fun because when you dive, it rotates you up, and back.
Wow.
And so it was really neat. And you can find me on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and X and wherever else. Just look for Owazrim.
Okay.
But yeah, they're fun games. I'm glad to have finally beat a couple of them that I hadn't beat before. Don't want to go into too much detail, but they're fun games. It's always cool to see what they could do with the Master System, even if it wasn't nearly close to what the arcade could do. But they're I'm a fan of the Master System, so I like stuff on there.
Yeah. All right, Eric. What about you? I'll just say, I know you played Space Harrier. I've known you've been playing Space Harrier for years. So.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Owazrim mentioned the Master System because one of the earliest memories I have of any of these games is a stand-up version of Hang On that was at a summer resort or something that my family went on summer vacation once. And this was about it must have been 1988. And I was playing this stand-up version of Hang On. And then when I learned about the Master System and that it came bundled with Hang On, that was actually one of the big reasons why I chose the Master System over the NES. And so Hang On was a big part of that. And then as for the other games, I learned about Space Harrier on the Master System. I didn't even know this was an arcade game. I just thought it was a really technically impressive. We borrowed it from somebody. There were 3 people in my town that I knew, or maybe 4. We borrowed Space Harrier from one of the other people we knew who had it, and I was blown away by it, and I just thought it was a marvel. And then I learned later that it was an arcade game. I've never, to this day, I don't think I've played Space Harrier in the arcade.
I never seen it in real life.
I don't know if I've ever seen it either. And then Afterburner and Outrun, I know there was an arcade in the local mall, and I think I was too cheap to play the sit-down version, so I always played the stand-ups. And I remember Afterburner, I was like, wow, this is incredible, And then I went and we borrowed Afterburner Master System version, and I was like, why can't this be as good as the arcade? It looks, it's not nearly as good. But honestly, my first, with most of these, my first experience has been the Master System versions. And of course, I borrowed Afterburner. We had Hang On. We borrowed Space Harrier. Outrun, I didn't see until many years later, but I did play the arcade. And then as these games came out for the Genesis or the 32X, and as we got those, I went out and I bought them. And I just always bought these home versions of these games because I was such a fan of them from the Master System. And so, yeah. So my experience has mostly been in the home, in the consoles, playing the home versions of them. And that's true this time. Although the Saturn and the 32X get really close to, I think, arcade, at least the arcade gameplay. You don't get the same sit down and twist around and rotate experience, but it was pretty enjoyable. Yeah. What about you? You want to talk about your experience?
I didn't have any experience prior to knowing you. Yeah. So I didn't go to arcades when I was younger. I mean, actually, I shouldn't say that. I think we went to an arcade a couple times, like with my dad. We would actually just play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because there was 4 of us. And so I didn't really have any experience with these. And so I just vividly remember Space Harrier, like you putting that in and playing that a lot. And so these were kind of, I'm sure I played Outrun or Hang On before, because you have these games, but it's not like this was the most I think I've played them.
So the games that we're mostly focusing on, and I do want to hear about some of the others because I learned after the fact that there's a lot of these super scalar games. But I guess I'm biased towards the one I grew up with, which are Hang On, Space Harrier, Outrun, and Afterburner. And I looked up their release order. It turns out Hang On was released first in the arcade in around July of 1985, a little later in Europe. And Space Harrier came just a few months later. And then Outrun came out in September of 86, so about a year. And to me, Outrun is the most sophisticated of the games. So it was curious to me that it wasn't the last released.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. And I think we're probably going to spend the most time talking about Outrun because I think that has the most interesting gameplay. And then Afterburner was the latest release, and it might be technically a little bit nicer than some of the others. But let's start with I think I'm getting the impression that the one that we played the least was Hang On. So I want to hear about. I grew up playing Hang On the Master System, so. Owaz, why don't you tell us about your experience playing Hang On the Master System? And you said you beat it. What does that mean?
To me, that just means you make it through, there's multiple courses. If you make it through the first course, that's good enough. And that's, I would say the first time I beat it, it was just, I went through course 1 because I don't know how many courses there are. I think there's 8 or 12. I forget which. And it's just not something I wanted to play that much. But this time I went through the first 3 and I thought that was it because on the menu you can select course 1, 2, or 3, or is it difficulty 1, 2, or 3 or something?
Yeah.
And so I thought that was it. And I was like, oh wait, there's more. And then I played for a little bit and didn't get, I think I made it through the first couple areas in that one.
There's not much to the game, right? I mean, don't hit things and make sure you're shifting on time, right? Other than that, it's just a race to the finish line. It's a timer-based game, right?
Yeah,
the
it's
arcade
kind of like Outrun,
version,
but you're on a motorcycle.
Yeah, but the arcade version didn't even have shifting. I played that for quite a while, actually, the arcade version in the browser. And it was so, because I played Outrun first, and then I got sort of backwards to Hang On, and then you think you're totally not impressed when you play that game, the arcade version at least. And it's just one, it's 4 stages, I think, just one track. You can't choose anything. And I was trying to beat it, but I was thinking, why is this so hard? And then I got calculating what the timing did. And you start the game with 75 seconds. And when you get to the first stage, then you get 60 seconds. And every other stage, you get 55 seconds. And every stage around, if you're doing well, it will take you 60 seconds to to get through. So if you're doing well, you get around 1 second on the clock when you beat it.
Oh my
And so
goodness.
you have to play perfectly to beat it. And then I did the calculation and I was like, no way I'm ever doing this. So that's when I built out. And then I tried Super Hang-On the Genesis for a little.
Oh, good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there you can choose the different continents. So you can choose Africa as the easiest, and then I think Europe or maybe the US is one harder, and then I think
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe Europe is the hardest. Anyway, I tried the easiest in Africa, and even that was hard. So I didn't try for long. And they also have like sort of home computer mode, not the arcade mode. I don't know what it was called. And there you can upgrade your. Then you can buy upgrades for your motorcycle and stuff. But that was so boring because you start out so slow, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to play this. So yeah, it's all very, very basic if you're used to Outrun, because you only have like two, like a double track and not multiple. Sometimes in Outrun you get multiple tracks, like 4, or maybe the track splits a little.
Yeah.
It's really straightforward, and there's also no elevation. I think if you're used to Outrun, you have like the elevation, you can go over hills and stuff.
Mhm.
And this
That's
is just
right.
like really straight and really, yeah.
Boring.
If you played Outrun, this is just, just quite
It's just
boring.
that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So who else played Super Hang-On, Melissa?
So we tried Super Hang-On, and I tried the arcade, and I was like, this is a lot more difficult. Like, to me, it was a lot more difficult than Outrun. I will say that too. And then I wanted to try the original mode, and it's when you start out, like, and even playing between original and arcade mode on Hang-On, it's like so much harder in the original mode. Your motorcycle seems a lot slower. The
Absolutely.
physics of turning is not as responsive, and the idea is that you do these races and you get money when you complete a race, and then you can like upgrade your motorcycle and stuff. But when you like hit something, another person or whatever, you crash, your motorcycle gets damaged, and then like in the race you can like lose your muffler, you can lose your brakes, you can lose your frame, and then like you just are out of the game. And so then you only get $400, but then like when you have to buy a new frame for $1,200, you have to
Wow.
pretend to race, like you race, but then they won't let you actually race because your frame is broken. So you just get $400. So you just have to like go through, like you're going to race like 3 more times to get the $1,200 to buy a frame. So it is kind of annoying, but also at the same time, it was kind of like, well, can I do this? Like, I kind of want to see if I can like do it, but I never even got to like complete a race. Like my motorcycle kept breaking down too much.
Wow. Yeah, it goes very slow, and
Very slow.
and also it's really easy to crash. Somehow it's
Yes.
way harder than
Yes.
than you could think. And
Yes.
I think this was a very early Mega Drive game or Genesis game. So and you really see that it's just I think it's not good. It's just not a good port.
Mr. Mullet, did you play? Do you have any comments on Hang-On?
No. It just sounds like a headache to me. I mean, and I think it brings up a good point though, because we were having this discussion in the chat about it, that a lot of these games were arcade games and they were ported over, and their main goal was to be quarter munchers, right? They wanted to put as much quarters in there as possible. So I don't know, you had to get really super good at these games in order to beat them, and then they transitioned them over to home console, and they didn't really change too much with them. So going through and playing arcade games, I wish I was better at them, but they just require so much time.
Yeah.
And I think they can be just just so challenging to get through that, there's really no end game. Maybe it's like getting a higher score, but there's like no end screen. Like I think we're to the point now we need to see that end screen, and we're not getting it.
Yeah.
So
but I'm not against arcade difficulty, but this is just borderline unfair, and that's maybe also the theme of these Yu Suzuki games.
Oh, but, sure.
Except maybe Outrun, but even that
it depends what version of Outrun you're playing, though. But I find Hang On easier on the Master System than Outrun is on the Master System. But we can talk about the specifics of Outrun.
Yeah. Okay.
But for Hang On, the thing is, and it's pretty much like Outrun. You timing your gas right, and you're letting it go at the right time. And if you have to, you hit the brake. And hope. And this is one thing I hate about games like that. It's like you have to, if you hit down to change gears, well, you better hope while you're pressing left or right, you don't accidentally hit up and not realize it. And I mean, I did it in both games. And to me, that's always a drawback, because like you don't realize it. Like, okay, I need to get a controller for these games that has a button at the top, so you can't accidentally rock up and hit changing your gears, downshifting. Sometimes you actually might want to downshift, but it'd be nice to have it. And also for the games where you have to hit up to jump, to actually change it so you don't have a D-pad, you just have a 3-prong, and then you have a button at the top, so you can hit the button at the top and not have to worry about rocking it.
Yeah. Let's talk about.
There's an SG-1000 port.
Oh, Hang On, yeah.
They called it Hang On 2.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I didn't play it this time, but I played it previously. It's okay, but it's a big downgrade.
So let me ask about the controls briefly, and Hang On's a good example of this, and maybe you guys experienced this too. I don't know what the controls were in the arcade, but I'm playing it on a home console where the controls are digital, meaning the accelerator is either all on or all off. I got in the habit of pulsing the accelerator or pulsing the brakes. How did you guys end up doing the same kind of thing, or how did you deal with the digital controls of these games?
That's exactly what I did. Just like pumping the gas in the corners. And I think I played Hang On maybe 6 months ago in the arcades. And I think it's also digital. You have like the steering wheel thing and the gas and the brakes. But when I played it, I feel it's just digital, like left and right, and it's not an analog.
It's just binary. It's either on or it's off, right?
Yeah.
And I did the same thing. So. You're sitting there just, you're And actually, I wouldn't call it pulsing. I call it you're feathering it, because you're sitting there going, and whether it's the brake or the gas, because you want to make sure that you don't hit the brake. You don't want to hold the brake down, because then you're like, oh, I just lost all my speed, and there goes the time, and like I'm done. It's almost as bad as crashing. But if you can feather the brake and feather the gas so that you're getting it just right, you can get it. Sometimes you'd get in a little rhythm while you're going around a tight curve, and then you'd hit tap the brake, and then bump up over to the gas and start feathering that.
Okay.
And the same thing for Outrun.
Yeah.
Outrun, absolutely. We'll talk about that later. But
I want to save Outrun because it's one of my favorites. So, any other last comments on Hang On? Otherwise, I want to move to Afterburner.
I would say if you see it in the arcades, it's still worth to just try it just for a little while, but don't expect to beat it. And
especially if it's a motorcycle. I mean, I'd play that just to do the mess with the motorcycle.
Right, and that's why these games exist. It's just a spectacle. So and just go for it when you see it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the game's draw was it had probably impressive graphics at the time, and the little sit-on motorcycle thing. The gameplay itself is pretty rudimentary and designed to get your quarters, right?
And honestly, I still think it looks good.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds good as well. Not as good as the other games, but it's still quite good.
Pretty good. All right. Let's go to, I'm going to jump all the way to the other end. The latest release, at least in the arcades for these, is Afterburner. I want to talk about this one next, because I also feel that this one has some pretty fairly simplistic gameplay.
I tried to play this, but it looks amazing. I was like, at the get-go, I was super impressed about the looks, and I thought, okay, this is going to be awesome. And I used to play G-Lock on the Game Gear as a kid a lot, and that's, I think, a sort of follow-up of this game. Even though that wasn't a really good game, but it was one of the few games I had for Game Gear. So when you're a kid, you're just playing that. So I thought, okay, I have some sort of experience with this series, so maybe I can do this. But it's so I'm never good at these real shooter games. So I was like, okay, maybe this will be hard. But yeah, I just got shot all the time. So when you start flying, you'll see some planes going forward, and you can shoot them very easily. And then they go. You can see them coming, and they shoot missiles at you. And when the missiles are coming, it's almost impossible to dodge them. Only if you know how to do that. And they go so fast, these missiles, and just most of the time you get hit, and then you're done for, and you have like 3 lives. And I think I can maybe play for 5 minutes, and then I'm game over. So I was like, okay, I have to have some way to make this game easier. And actually, in the 32X version, there is a mode. I think you can put it on easy, and you can give yourself 5 lives instead of 3. And even then, I didn't get very far. So I was like, okay, maybe this is not for me. So I think this is the game I played the least.
Yeah. I agree with you. Like, that's how I felt too. I felt like this game, I couldn't get it. Like, I couldn't get it. And then I'd get to the bonus round, and in the bonus round, they had like these like walls of rocks, it was like a cavern or something you're like flying through, and I would just hit the sides all the time. I was like, I can't avoid them. So it was.
So speaking of not being able to avoid, I want to segue this into Owazrim in a minute, but in the 32X and in the arcade versions, missiles are a big part of the game. And the thing I found so troubling about this is that when you fire your own missiles, it covers the screen with the smoke trail. And so you're firing off all these missiles, and there's all these white smoke trails in front of you, and it obscures your view of the oncoming missiles or the oncoming jets. And so I'd come out of a smoke cloud and explode. Now, this is true for the systems that can do this kind of graphic sprite work, but the Master System can't. So, Owazrim, tell us about the Master System version of Outrun. How did that play?
All right. And I'll say I use an emulator because in the Master System version, you can hold either up left or up right, and you can skip the first 12 levels. So I did that. The emulator I was using, there's an option to speed up the game. And so I sped up the game, and it's like stage 12 was like save state. And then
nice.
So I'd go through and I'd play it that way, but I'd save state about in the middle of the stage, and then when the next stage started. But the cool, like with the Master System, there's no problem with, you start firing blind more so, I guess, in the other versions because the cloud is obscuring your view. That's not a problem. And in this one, like it took a while to really get into a rhythm and to start really understanding and figuring out, okay, this is how what I need to do and how I need to play. But the neat thing is like I found that the chain gun was a lot more useful than the missiles. The chain guns worked really well against the missiles, and I started getting into a rhythm where like you'd figure out, okay, you see the missiles off in the distance on the left side, so you start banking and shooting with your chain gun and do that, and you could it was really easy to keep the missiles off the screen pretty much because you'd shoot them, they'd show up, you shoot them, you show up, you shoot them, and you didn't have to worry as much.
So you can shoot the missiles.
Yeah,
the missiles. Okay. Well, I don't know if that was an option in the arcade. Yeah.
I didn't know that either. Okay.
Yeah, and like I figured it out as I was playing because I didn't know either, and I was like, okay, I was like, oh, I'm blowing up the missile. I'm guessing I'm hitting with my missiles. No, it's the chain gun. And it says in the manual, it's like basically learn to do the barrel roll, and that'll save you. And I was like, okay, so I need to focus on doing the barrel roll. And so you go left and you go right, and then you do a barrel roll. You know, thanks, Slippy.
Did that help? Because in my experience, the barrel roll just made you more vulnerable for like 4 seconds, where you couldn't do it. You were like totally out of control, and it just opens you up. How did it?
I found it to be the same thing. Like while you're doing the barrel roll, you're fine, and as soon as you came out, you were dead.
Okay.
So I was like, there's no point in doing the barrel roll. When I accidentally did it, I hoped that it wouldn't affect anything.
No.
It wouldn't kill me. But figuring out the pattern for the missiles, go left and then go right. And then it seems like the levels were kind of similar, or the stages, I guess. Because there'd be a segment where there was no missiles coming at you. It's like, all right, you could focus on either just not letting them run into you, or trying to blow them up with your missiles or the chain gun. And then they'd come off from the left, they'd come from the right, or whatever. They'd alternate, and sometimes they'd come from behind, which is also interesting because they'd run into you. But like learning, and I watched a speed run of the game. And I was like, okay, this is what this guy's doing to make it so far, and all he did was pretty much just go up and then down and then up and then down, and that works so much better to avoid the missiles. Like you'd climb.
That's what I was doing. Yeah.
You'd dive and go over the top of you, and thankfully, seeing that, I was like, oh, okay, so that's a strategy. So when you didn't have time to get over to the left or the right to shoot the missiles as they were coming in, you're like, all right, well, let me just climb. Okay, I'm at the top of the screen. I can't shoot anything. Let me get down. And so some levels are just like you're doing the.
That was the only way how I can avoid in the arcade version. Just go down a lot, and then when the missiles were coming, just shoot up, and then you can avoid them. But it only works that much. It will get insane eventually, and then then you'll die anyway.
But the final boss is nothing like that. It's pretty much a spray and pray. And
it's the pray
and pray.
Because like it didn't matter what I did, I was getting just slaughtered with missiles. Because I save stated right before the final boss. The final boss pops on the screen. I was like, save state.
Yeah.
And like I watched the speed run. I was like, I don't get it. Like I was sitting there just flying all around, trying to shoot missiles as they were coming at me, trying to launch missiles to hit there's only 3 targets on the final boss. And it's just like, oh my gosh. And I probably spent 20 or 30 minutes just on the final boss. On the final boss, figuring that out.
I think the arcade version doesn't have a final boss, if I remember correctly. That's something the Master System added. And actually, when I think about it, I played Afterburner 2. Which is just the same game, but I think it was released in the same year, and it's just like a sort of expansion version where there's 2 or 3 more stages or something, and maybe a sort of remix. But it's just the same game. The game on the 32X is called Afterburner, but when you start it, the title screen says Afterburner 2. So
I should have looked that up. I'm gonna see if there's any actual difference.
And actually, before I started Afterburner for the Master System, I played Afterburner Climax on the 360, and that one's fun because once you play it long enough, you unlock a bunch of extra stuff, and so you can just fly around and your missiles fire automatically and everything. It's pretty much just a walk in the park.
Oh. Yeah, didn't they pull Afterburner Climax? It's not available anymore, is it? Yeah, I wish I had snagged a copy of that. So I looked it up real quick. The difference between, this is something I actually want to ask you guys about, the difference between Afterburner and Afterburner 2. And I think most of the home ports are actually Afterburner 2. It says Afterburner 2 is an enhanced version with more stages, increased missile capacity, and a functional speed throttle. I wanted to ask you guys about that. Did you guys ever, I'll start. I'll say, occasionally in the game when I was starting to get frustrated, I would just hit the Afterburner and just zip through the level as fast as I could, right? So I just raced to the end of the level. There's no timing like in Hang On, and I don't know what actually determines the end of the level, but I felt like if I just hit the Afterburner and just kind of sped through everything, I could just get to the next stage, and maybe it was a bonus stage, or maybe it was something I could get more points or extra lives. Did you guys use the throttle at all in your playthroughs?
I didn't know how it works. I couldn't get it to work. I knew there was like a speedometer on the bottom left, and I was like, how do I get faster? And I tried all buttons, but maybe I was doing something wrong. I don't know. So no, I haven't tried. And what I know is that I think there's like planes following you, and you can dodge them with the afterburner, so you can somehow. But maybe that's later in the game because I had never seen that. Right. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I never used it, but what I said, I played it. Maybe I got maybe 5 minutes into the stage, and I tried maybe 10 times, and I was like, okay, I'm done.
Enough. All right.
I don't think the Master System version had an afterburner.
No, nothing, huh? Okay. I can't remember. I didn't play it this time. But,
yeah, if there is, I don't know how to use it.
Yeah. Okay.
But with 2 buttons.
Well, my last comments on Afterburner, I would say this is maybe the most beautiful game of the 80s, or one of them, because
I agree.
Yeah, it looks insane, and even those smoke clouds, it just looks. They went for realism, I think, and for the time it looks realistic, but now I just really dig the art style of it.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's still a super beautiful game. And again, when you see this in arcade, just go for it because that would be awesome to do.
Yeah, I agree. It was the last. I think I mentioned it was the last one released, and I think they really did the graphics really nicely on this. And I actually even like the music. I think the music is really really cool. Sonic, just hearing that guitar or whatever it is at the beginning title screen always kind of throws me back to those old arcade days.
Yeah,
but
and get ready.
Yeah. Get ready. Yeah. Or fire. All right. Let's move on to, I think, our more popular 2 games. I want to do Space Harrier first. And Mr. Mullet, I know you played Space Harrier.
Oh boy. Wow. Well, first off, I mean, what an amazing and beautiful game. And overall, I mean, I felt like I was in a psychedelic trip when playing it, minus the fear. So, but it was something. You have things all over the place. You have bright colors. You got mushrooms. It's a amazing game, and I'm so glad I was able to experience it this month during the Cartridge Club, because I don't think I would have ever played it aside from that. I've heard of Space Harrier before. I didn't really know what was it about, and then I played Space Harrier, and I still don't know what it's really about. But it's so much fun to play, and to be fair, as far as my playthrough is concerned, I played on the Sega Ages collection via Switch, and then I played it on default, and it was just a slow go. I kept getting to like maybe the 9th stage or whatnot. So then I went to the easiest and the most continues. And after still a long time playing the game, I was able to finally beat it. But it's not for the weak at heart. It's a slog. And I think looking at my playthrough just for that game, and what you have 18 stages, I believe 16, I forget, but it took me about close to 9 hours of playtime total just to get through it. So I do feel like I did my time with it, right, so to speak.
Yeah.
And, it's just so weird. You're just this guy just like floating around, kind of like with just jet propulsion, and shooting things on these crazy landscapes that are just coming at you left and right. So, I mean, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, and it's that arcade difficulty like we talked about. So
sure.
Yeah, so we're just trying to get the quarters out of me, but I like to say I ran out of quarters, and I just kind of did it on kind of a little easy. So, it's good to experience the game, because I think no matter how you play a game like this, you have to experience every level. and all the levels were different and unique in their own way, and they had a fantastic fantastic scenery and enemies coming through. So yeah, I'm glad I played it. Great experience overall.
Great. Now I'm going to embarrass Melissa. Melissa,
I knew it.
how do you feel about Space Harrier?
I do not like Space Harrier. I do not like it. I do not like watching you play it, and I do not like playing it myself. It's Mr. Mullet, you're right. It's like psychedelic, like the things coming at you, and I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea. I guess
So
I tried playing it. Go ahead. What were you going to ask?
The graphic. So there's two aspects to the game, right?
Yeah.
And Mr. Mullet touched on one. One of them is a beautiful game, and if you think that this game came out in 1986, it's even more impressive. But then there's the gameplay. So is it both facets that don't appeal to you, or do you think, oh, the game is beautiful, but the gameplay, there's really not much to it?
I guess because the gameplay to me is like, I don't really enjoy the graphics that much either, and it's just an overall thing, I guess. And I don't know why it just doesn't. I'm not usually. I mean, it's like, okay, yeah, I'll play this or whatever, but it's just kind of like, no, I don't want. I have no interest. Like, oh, do you want to play Space Hero with me? No, I have no interest. I played it for this podcast. I tried, but I was like, I'm done. And maybe it's just because I'm not good at it. Maybe just because I'm not good at it, and that just it's like, eh.
Okay.
Which version did you play?
Which one did you set me up with?
We played the Sega Ages version on the Saturn, which is pretty much like the arcade or the 32X version.
Okay.
So yeah. So how about you other two? Let's go to some people whose opinions are more correct. Because Space Harrier is I love Space Harrier.
I know.
What about you other folks? What do you think of Space Harrier?
Should I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I played the 32X version, so that's pretty much the arcade version. And first of all, I thought this is a huge jump up from graphics from Hang On, because the perspective changes when you go up, and there's like just more like a 3D effect going on. So yeah, looks way more beautiful and impressive than Hang On. Yeah, the art style is quite something. Yeah, you have to get used to it. It's different. I think you never see this art style even in current games. It's really unique. Yeah, I could see that you don't love it, but yeah, I kind of like it because it has a little bit like of the anime flavor, maybe. I think it has some inspiration from there. It looks very Japanese, and well, the gameplay. Yeah, what I said, I'm very bad at these rail shooters because I never have a good depth perception with these rail shooters, because when the bullets come at me, I feel I don't know when they are on the same plane as I am. So for me, it's really hard to judge if I get hit or not. And I really love shoot 'em ups, but these kind of games are actually quite similar as a shoot 'em up. But because of that depth perception thing, I have a really hard time playing it. So what I did in the 32X version is, again, cranking up the lives and play on easy. But I think what Mr. Mullet said, that he also had continues, and the 32X version doesn't have continues, so you can't credit feed yourself through the game. So you have like 5 lives. So I got, I think, to the 5th stage or something, and that's the farthest I got. And I was like, okay, when I played it more, at first I thought it's not that, not my cup of tea. But when I played more, I thought, okay, I could learn this game. I could, learn the bullet patterns, and just like a shmup, just learn what happens next, and maybe try to beat it honestly. And when I've have that feeling, most of the time it's a good game.
Oh, good.
except maybe the player sprite is quite large, and it also obfuscates the screen a little. So
Mhm.
sometimes you don't see the bullets coming because of that, and which makes it hard. And there's a lot of scenery in the game, so there's pillars and trees and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
actually, I got hit by those more than the shots of the
Yeah.
enemies. So yeah, that's pretty. It's again a way too hard game, I guess, for home play. I don't know if there is the home console versions are any better than the arcade version, but yeah, I kind of like this game, but I have to give this more time, maybe like years and not a month. just just play it like every month, some hours, and then learn it.
Yeah.
I could see myself doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
So
I
I
mean,
wanna-
that's what I'm going to say too. I think that is part of it. The depth perception of it. It just like it's like, how did I
Yeah.
get hit? Like that wasn't gonna. I was nowhere near it, but I guess I was near it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I always have this with this game, even with Star Fox and stuff like that. I have a really hard time with these depth perception in these kind of games.
Also, it just feels like you're kind of just shooting at whatever, right?
yeah,
You're
like
just
everything.
shooting. There's really,
Yeah.
but that's, I mean, for me, that was kind of like the drawback. But I just think with just the beauty of the game in general, I mean, that's what I like, especially with these old games. Just like, wow, this is incredible. It's like, how did they do this back in the day? So that's kind of what was my main driving force to playing it and continue to play it, even though I was getting destroyed most of the time. But we did it. We did it.
Yeah, yeah, the graphics are insane. It's like 1 year younger than me, and the game, and yeah, it's insane what they did, and I still love how it looks. And if a modern game would look like this, I would still like the graphics. It really holds up.
Yeah, we can talk. We'll talk about some of the modern versions, but I wanna segue this to Owazrim too, because the 32X on the Saturn on the arcade version, the depth perception is a factor, and it helps when you have a reasonable frame rate where you can kind of see these things scrolling towards you. But I grew up with the Master System, which is nowhere near powerful enough to do this, and I want to hear Owazrim's take on how did the Master System. How did you do with the Master System pulling off these low frame rates and this depth perception?
Lots of deaths. Yeah, it's with the Master System version. You pretty much just have to really figure out the levels. You know where the enemies are coming from, and you get to that area and you shoot, and you hope you're in the right spot, and that you're not going to get hit by anything. But it's a tough game in general. I mean, even the more modern versions are quite tough. And like you said, some of the terrain you can shoot. Later in the game, some of the terrain you can't shoot, and at least it gives you an alert, because like you hear your bullets like ricocheting off it or something. You get a little ting. But yeah, it's tough. I think I made it to like level 5 or 6, and then the next time I didn't make it to level. No, I made it through the first level, but I didn't make it through level 2. And just sometimes it's just like doesn't seem like there's any rhyme or reason to it. And sometimes like the 3 orbs that come down and open up, and you have to shoot them when they open up. Like there's times like I could get them all in one go, and then other times like it doesn't matter what you do, you can't do it. It's like you're lucky if you get one of them. You're like, I know I can do this. Why is it not working right? But the best thing about the Master System version, the music. It's got an iconic, at least to me, it's an iconic, even when you die, the little happy-go-lucky sounds that start coming out, and then when you're playing, and this is the get ready.
Yeah,
but you need to. I mean, the music's good enough that they made an FM version of it for the Bio sound for the Mark III.
Mm-hmm.
And I could just I've turned it on and just had that running in the background for I don't know how long, just because it sounds so nice, and it's great.
Do these games all share the same composer as well? I think, right?
That would be a great thing to know for a podcast, but I have no idea.
I think they share all the same composer, but I'm not 100% sure. I think it was a relatively small team working outside of the Sega building, so they have a different. Actually, I think it was like more of an apartment complex where they worked on these kind of spectacle games. So Yu Suzuki, and I think this composer was part of that team as well, and they were like sort of secretly making these weird, super fancy arcade cabinets apart from the main Sega company. Actually, I think also they drove a real Ferrari Testarossa, and they even went. For Afterburner, they went to the US to go do a fake dogfight with these same planes. What is it, Tomcat or something? Or do you know what kind of plane? Or F-22 or something?
Yeah.
So they actually went into that and did a fake dogfight.
Back then, they actually took the time and effort, and some companies still do, but they'd go out and get take pictures and get an actual bird's eye view on how these things actually work and how they work together and how they should sound, and then try to do the best they could with that. But I did a quick search, and the game's music was all composed by Hiroshi Kawaguchi, and he worked closely with Yu Suzuki so that the timing and stuff of the music felt right with the speed and whatnot of the games for all four of them.
I love the music in Space Harrier.
Same, yeah.
Going back from the Master System version, I thought it sounded great on the Master System.
Mm-hmm.
I especially like, I think at least for each of the first 2 or 3 stages, there's some variation there. I think when it gets to the third stage music, I really like that.
Yeah.
Mr. Mullet, any comments on the music?
Oh, I don't know if I really recall the music so much, but
no.
Yeah, I don't know.
Frantic.
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, it's partly me because, like, I usually listen to audiobooks when I play like games and stuff like that. So I was listening to music here and there. I didn't think I listened to it enough. So I'll have to go back and do it.
I think that's right. Go back.
Yeah. So one of my big things is that there is some strategy to the game because you have to go on the ground too. All of a sudden you're running, you're going up and down. So you have those controls as they're inverted controls, which is a little bit weird, but still you kind of get the feel for it. And there are some levels, some worlds that you have to dodge ground obstacles, and then you have to dodge air obstacles, so you have to go back and forth. And so there is some strategy, and something that I picked up on, which I felt was pretty unique, especially for a rail shooter like that.
Okay, well, maybe that's why I'm always dying in the game, because I never picked up on any of that. I'm just shooting forward as fast as I can.
Yeah.
Did your versions have auto fire? Because mine, I had to mash the button to shoot. It was pretty annoying.
Yeah, I had auto fire.
Oh.
Okay. So maybe I should pick up the Sega Ages version
sometime.
sometime.
It's a really good one. And they have like other modes as well. So when you do beat the game, you can go through the mode again without playing the final boss, which is just ridiculously challenging and fast. So you can do that, and you have unlimited continue. So that's kind of, once I beat the game, I was able to go back and really kind of look around and explore, I guess, in a way, just because I didn't have to worry about losing all my lives or anything like that. So yeah, I highly recommend the Sega Ages version.
I'll pick that up. Maybe that's the version I should train my 1cc sometime.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's possible in this game.
I think it was under $5 US. So
yeah, if it's on steep discounts very often.
There you go.
It'll go on sale all the time. I think one thing, going back to the graphics and like how nice they look and how colorful they are, I think if you look at like Fantasy Zone, it's got that little cutie color feel, and like I said, like, you don't really see a lot of that these days. But it to me, like, it stands the test of time. Like, they still look nice. Like you plug it in and play, and you're like, it doesn't look bad. It looks good. It looks, especially when you realize what limited hardware they were working with and what they were able to do with it.
Oh, yeah.
And especially if you compare it with other games from the 80s.
Yeah.
Because other games from the 80s, well, there's maybe from 89 or maybe some NES games look nice, but not this nice. Not this looks like 90s. Maybe at the earliest. It's just very impressive stuff.
Space Harrier on the Master System was the game I would show my Nintendo friends to try to convince them how great the Master System was, because it's just a gorgeous game, and it had digitized speech, and the sound was really good.
There is a Famicom version, I think, of Space Harrier.
That's true.
I don't know if it looks just as good, but
no, it's on the NES. The NES couldn't pull off the Master System.
I was going to say, I haven't seen it, but probably not. No. Anyway, yeah, there is one on the Famicom too. I never made it to the States. Should we move on to Outrun?
Yeah, no one really cares that much about Space Harrier.
Let's talk about Outrun. Okay.
Master System version is annoying as all get out.
Yeah.
I have struggled with that one for years. Like ever since I got a Master System and got Outrun. Like, I've played it. And like, I'd sit down and I'd play it for like an hour or two, and like, I'd always get so close to the goal and then just crash into something. It's like, all right, I'm done. Or I shouldn't say always, because it's just a tough game, because the randomness of the cars popping up on the Master System version is really tough. You'll be coming around, and everything seems like a blind curve, and there's blind hills, so you're coming up and you're like, and so you slow down. Oh my gosh, I was so happy. Like, I beat it. I finally beat it. That's the first time I beat it, was when I was playing it, and I was playing it on the Master System. And
great.
Oh my word. Like, it plays pretty good. I think the frame rates are fine for it, but because of how quickly things move when you get up to speed, it's hard to make some of those turns. And like we talked about with Outrun, or not with Outrun, hang on, feathering the gas, tapping the brake, and then accidentally going into low gear. So you go from 200 and something, 220 kilometers an hour down to like 150 or 160. I forget what it is when you're in low gear. And you're like, what's going on? And you're like, oh, got to bump it back down. And all right, well, there goes that run. It's so easy to ruin a run on that. And but I think
that's the theme of all these games, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's what Hang On is like Outrun. It's just you're on a motorcycle instead of in a car.
Yeah, except I feel I played the Sega Ages version, and at first when I started that version, I thought, okay, this is insanely difficult, because this game has branching paths, and I thought that if you always pick left, that's the easiest path, because I'm used to in Darius. That's the only logic why I thought that this was the route. So I tried over and over this route, and I was like, okay, this is impossible. There's so much randomness also with the cars, and there's a lot of them, a lot of cars, and there's a lot of also trucks riding just as fast as you, which is insane. And every time when you bump into that one of these cars, then you basically aren't going to get the finish. So I was like, okay, this is impossible. So I tuned down the difficulty again in the Sega Ages version, and I was like, okay. And then I got the end pretty easily. And then after that, I was like, okay, can I do this on the actual arcade difficulty? And then I did a lot of research on YouTube how to do it. And there's actually some routes which are easier than others. The easiest route is you go to the left first and then go right all the time. But there's also a fastest route, and that is when you go the right first and then to the left and then right all the time. So that's the route I learned, because you need that time, because you start with quite a little time, and every time when you hit a checkpoint you get, I think, 60 seconds. So you have to have some spare seconds from the last stage, or else you won't get it. And actually, when I learned that, this is the cool of this game, that you can really learn every corner. If you just play it over and over, you know which corners are coming and which chicanes are coming, and you know which of these corners you can go full gas on. And actually, I never used the brake on Outrun. In all these other games, I used the brake, but in Outrun you never have to use the brake. You just pump the gas. And so I just learned the tracks, and then just over and over and over. And eventually I got the win. I think it took me 3 hours or something to get the win on the fastest route. And of course, there's a lot of replayability in this game. If you try these other routes as well, I don't know if they're as insane as in Hang On or something. Because actually, I found this quite doable, because I had, I think, 11 seconds to spare when I finished. So that's, I think every track is like 60 seconds long, and you have, I think, 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, and I had 10 seconds to spare. So quite. I got quite good at it. And then after that, I played the Game Gear version, which is different from the Master System version.
Yeah.
And I took the same route, but it was really weird because the stages were different. The second stage was like you saw pyramids in the background, and I was like, "Huh? This game is supposed to be in Europe. There's no pyramids in Europe." So I was like, "Okay, this is a total different game." But I beat that on my second try, because it's quite a lot easier, and also only 4 stages long. So yeah, but also a quite good version, I think. But yeah, I totally love this game now. It's so beautiful, and who doesn't want to ride a Ferrari Testarossa with a cute blonde next to you?
It's my second life right there, huh? So yeah, you feel like you need to wear like a sunglasses and an unbuttoned Hawaiian shirt, right? That's
yeah, the
that's
vibes
kinda,
are
that's
so
my life.
nice, and the music is so good, and it's just
I did
it
listen to the
feels
music on this one.
Good. It's
it,
selectable.
Yes.
it's selectable. On the Sega Ages version, there's even like 2 extra tracks which are sort of remixes, which are also very good. And yeah, it's just the vibes in this game. It's just all vibes.
Yeah, good
Right.
vibes and good immersion too, because like you really feel like you're in the back of your seat just by how fast this game goes, which is amazing for the time that it came out. It's just like I couldn't really, because when I started playing, like I didn't know, like I was in low gear and I wasn't making the checkpoints. Like, what's going on here? So then I shifted it to high gear. It's like, whoa, man, this is Sega all the way.
You get
So
going.
this was awesome. But yeah, so I started on the Sega Ages version, and I wasn't, I was just messing around with things, and it was challenging, but like I've realized that I was on like the shortest time frame to get to a checkpoint. So it's like, let's just dial back here. So I put it on easy. I put it on the highest time frame. I played every single direction you can go, just because it was such a great game. I tried all the different types of soundtracks. I listened to like the soundtrack when I was at work, just because it was so good. And then once I did that, I wanted to get all the endings, and then I beat it on default, which was like, I don't know, like 2 traffic and in 3 time or something like that. But regardless, then I was able to do that. But wow, what a game. And with the Sega Ages version, you're able to switch between OG, and they did some updates to it. But I really couldn't tell much of a difference. It was just a little bit sharper. Yeah, it's like I couldn't tell much of a difference. So that goes to show you how fantastic the development of this game was back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say more good things about it. I mean, it is that arcade difficulty, but thankfully you have some options with the Sega Ages version. Additionally, like once you beat like a certain type of route, you're able to put different changes to your car. Like you won't slide off if you go off. You can actually increase the speed, believe it or not. And I think it goes over 200 miles an hour that you can get it up to, which is crazy. It's just going by so fast. So it's kind of fun to play around with that, especially if you don't have any cars or anything in the way. It's just like you're just blowing through things. But actually sitting down and beating it is quite rewarding. And it's, not a long game, but you have to get that rhythm down. So I think going back, I spent about 8 hours with this one as well, just by playing different ways, and lots of replayability. It's a fantastic game.
Yeah, this game was probably my favorite. I wasn't very good at it, and I was like, ugh, but it made me like. But when I did like, when I, the time expired or whatever, I was like, oh, I want to keep going. I want to keep going. So it did make me want to like keep going and like complete a route. I never did complete a route. I'm just not very good at it. But it was it was my favorite. I liked the way it looked. I liked the music, and I liked the playability of it. So,
yeah,
and I
you
don't
had
think
fun.
I ever.
That's all that
Yeah, I
matters.
had fun. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
don't think I ever braked either. Like at first I was like braking. I was like, oh, I got to brake. I'm going too fast. And then I realized if I just took my finger off the gas, it would slow down enough. And so, yeah. So,
Yeah. When I was playing, I noticed if we talk about sort of the gameplay strategies, I don't know if this is true, but it felt true enough that I ended up kept doing it. When I was getting in trouble, where maybe I nudged, we'll say nudged another car, I found that if I downshifted real quick, I wouldn't lose as much control and spin off into the side or do anything. Did anybody did anybody use any strategy with downshifting, either to quickly slow yourself down or to try to gain control of your car back? Or am I imagining this?
No, I did that as well.
Oh, you did? Oh, good.
Yeah. It was a combination of downshifting and then sometimes I was tapping on the brake. It was weird, just to kind of get that feel. But I tried different variations.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I never downshift, only if I went on when I crashed, then you have to. But if you crash, then you can basically start over because you're not going to get the finish line. So you can still bump maybe in 3 cars in a run, but not crash, because if you crash, it takes maybe 5-6 seconds, and maybe I could crash in my best run where I beat the game, because I still had 10 seconds on the clock, but it will be horribly tight if you do that.
I went through great extremes to make sure I didn't crash, because one crash could take the whole race, could wipe out the whole race.
You can better take a corner very slowly and not crash into one of those things which are on the side of the track.
That's right.
Then just take the risk, because that's just not worth it. And the strange thing of this game, it doesn't use race lines. It doesn't use actual car race lines. Normally, when you racing a car, you go from the outside of the track to the inside of the track, and then to the outside of the track when you take a corner. But in this game, it's actually just riding a motorbike, because you have to just go into the corner of the just go to when there's a right corner, you have to go to the right, and just go full gas, and then you end up into the left of the corner. that you have to really get used to that. That's just not actual how a car works.
Yeah.
But if you get used to it, you just have to think you're riding a motorbike. Maybe I think they just lifted the physics from Hang On into Outrun. Yeah, and of course it's only 1 year apart, these two games, which is insane if you look at the graphical differences. Because this game actually has elevation. It has like sometimes you change to 4 roads, or maybe there's like a divider in between 2 roads, and or you have like when you go to the desert, there's like sort of dirt on the ground, and and also you ride to a village where there's like a beach on the left, and it's really scenic. And yeah, of course they actually did. I think Yu Suzuki did a road trip in Europe for a month or something with a video camera to record everything, and he did just actual inspiration from Europe. I think they went from France or from Italy to France to maybe Germany. I think he went to Austria and Germany as well, just to get the inspiration. And you really see that in this game, that there's a lot of cool environments, and you ride through the Alps where the mountains are in the background, and all the flowery fields on the sides. It's just really cool looking.
Yeah. Mr. Mullet mentioned that, and I did something similar, right? This game has all these branching paths, but and because of that, there's all these different sections of the race, and I kind of wanted to see them all because they're all beautiful and they're all slightly different. Same with you, right, Mr. Mullet? Did you end up seeing every path?
I did, and I was amazed every time. It's like, oh, what's this going to be? So it was really nice. It's very beautiful, and it definitely changes the scenery and makes you feel immersed in the game. And I think that's what we're looking for, especially with any game. But this game does it really well, especially for an arcade game, that came out in the 80s. I mean, he's right on with it. So I loved it. Yeah, I had to see everything.
I know. I wanted to also. It's such a beautiful game. All right. Any last thoughts on Outrun? Otherwise, I'm going to go into kind of everybody's final thoughts about these 4 games and what they would maybe recommend people still play or skip over. So any final thoughts on Outrun?
Again, if you see this in the arcade, go play it.
Yeah,
I every time when I played it in the arcade, I wasn't even angry that I didn't get it to the second checkpoint, because it's just such a cool experience. You can't credit feed this game. You can when your time is up, the game is over. So that's maybe different from newer arcade games. So if you want to see the whole game, find arcade which is on free play, or else it will cost you. Also, go listen to the soundtrack, and even the Game Gear soundtrack is so amazing. It's just insane. It's I love it. And also there's also a Game Boy port made by a homebrew developer, which is my podcast team, which is released last year for the Game Boy Color. And it's okay, but it is free. It's on itch.io, so you can play that as well.
Great. So Wiedo, why don't you tell us? Okay, so you played all 4 of these games. Tell us, what do you recommend? What should people do if they want to think about these 4 games? What's worth playing?
If you want to play them all, I would start with Hang On, just because you will be very underwhelmed with it if you go play this after Outrun, which I did. So start with Hang On. If you like rail shooters, play Space Harrier, I think. Afterburner, I would skip, honestly, because it's just insanely hard. Maybe just look at footage, because it looks beautiful, but I wouldn't play that. And of course, Outrun is just really good. Just buy the Sega Ages version and just go play it. And yeah, I would recommend everyone to play it. Even I got my son, he's 7. He was like, "Oh, I want to play this," so he got started. I just put it on easy mode, and he could play it a little as well. So, and he was super enjoying it as well. And he didn't mind the graphics. He was like, "Oh, this." I think he just thought it looked cool as well. So yeah,
That's cool.
It's for all ages still.
Melissa, what do you think people should play?
Well, look, honestly, my favorite is Outrun. I would just say
Yeah.
Outrun is worth it. I think that's what you'll enjoy the most. Some of the others are frustrating. Um, I don't know why I can't get into Space Harrier. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna die on that hill. Space Harrier is a no. Okay. But yeah, Outrun, that one can be fun, and you could even like play it like in a group setting, right? And like see who can get like the fastest time or whatever. So I think that is an all around good one.
So Outrun. All right. What about you, Owazrim? What should people still play these days?
I think they're all worth at least checking out.
Yeah.
I think Hang On is fun, but out of the 4, man, it'd be tough to. I don't know. I think Space Harrier and Hang On would sit there and swap spaces or places for 3rd and 4th, depending on the day. Part of it's just because like Space Harrier is hard. Space Harrier, I just struggled with. I've struggled with it on the Genesis and any other version I played, and the Master System doesn't really help with that. But like I think Afterburner and Outrun, like depending on what you want to do you want to shoot stuff down, or do you want to just have a semi-leisurely stroll down the road? But I think they're all worth checking out. They're especially if you can get ones that are closer to the arcade, or open up Mister and get it working on the arcade versions on those. But and if nothing else, listen to the Outrun music.
The magical sound shower.
Yeah.
Mr. Mullet, what do you think people should play?
Well, obviously, Outrun, right? We've been talking about that, and Space Harrier. I did not play the other 2, and I don't know if I will. If I do see them out in the arcade, maybe. But I think the 2 that I played and the 2 that I put in a lot of time, I think it's definitely worth it. The amount of immersion, the graphics, everything is fantastic about both games, I feel. So if in the accessibility, especially with on the Switch or other variations through the Sega Ages version, is easily more accessible, and that's one thing that gets me to play some of these games is accessibility. So yeah, definitely Outrun number 1. Number 2 would be Space Harrier. At least I think both games are ubiquitous as far as it comes to the classic arcade games, and really how the shift happened within games and in the arcade at that time.
Okay, I think Outrun is our clear favorite. So now I want to ask, because these games are almost 40 years old now, and they are such classics that there have been a number of versions and copies and inspired by games. I'll let you guys mention. Does anybody have any ones that they want to throw out as additional ones that we didn't cover? I know I'll start. Wiedo, you played Power Drift, and that's always one that I wished I had been able to spend more time with. I think I only have it on the 3D Ages for the 3DS.
Yes, that's how I played it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, this is where they used that superscalar engine and just maybe went too far with it because you're writing actual tracks on that. You can see the whole track when you're like Mario Kart. When you're riding it, and when you go the first left in Outrun, you have the stage where you have those you go under those arches.
Mm-hmm.
The stages of power drift are basically all that, but you're driving over the arches, which is you see all there's sprites everywhere, and it's I beat it on easy mode, and I said in my beat tweet that it's held together with strings and duct tape because it feels like it shouldn't work, and it almost doesn't. But it's such an insane spectacle. This game, and it's also you have like 5 circuits, with each 5 tracks. So it's basically the content of a Mario Kart game in this arcade game, which is quite insane. But again, this game is absolutely unfair. It's so you can't make mistakes. And I played it on easy mode, and even then it's really hard because the first 3 stages are quite easy then, but then the 4th stage is doable, but the 5th stage is just, again, the CPU is way too strong because you're actually racing against CPU in this game, and you have to end up 3rd place to get to the next stage. And that last stage is really difficult on every course. So because it's like every course is like a roller coaster, and you can fall off. And if you fall off, then you made that mistake, which just takes like 5 seconds to get back on, and then you're basically lost. But yeah, I would recommend, especially the 3DS version. When you put on the 3D, it's almost an instant headache, but it's such an insane effect to see that super scaling work on that 3DS version. If you have it, I would definitely try it. Put it on easy mode directly, and just try I've seen all stages, and I beat 2 of the circuit. And yeah, I had an amazing time with it. Not because it's a really good game, it's more like an optical illusion, which but yeah, and especially I wish I could see this game running in the arcade, because I think even when you have a big screen in front of you, like a big CRT screen, and a moving cabinet, or a moving car where you're in, well, that would be really cool. It's a really cool game. It looks insane. It is insane, and it doesn't work, but it's still cool. It's not as good as Outrun.
So does anybody have any other games that they like?
Outrun 3D. That's an interesting one. I was actually able to beat that one, like my first or second time trying it.
That's a Master System game, right?
Yeah.
And
I had the goggles on. I was playing in actual 3D using the system and a CRT, and like it's just I think the 3D for the Master System is pretty neat. It's not it's not mind blowing now, but I think it's just a neat thing to be able to do. So yeah, Outrun 3D. You can try Space Harrier 3D, but Space Harrier 3D is rough on the Master System. Yeah. And both of those games are a little bit more rough because they're trying to do the 3D, but they're still pretty neat.
Half the frame rate of the original games, just 3D. Has anybody? I'm going to throw this out here because we were talking about Outrun, and I love the sequel, Outrun 2, which was released on the Xbox or the PlayStation 2. Have any of you guys played Outrun 2?
Oh. No, because you can't buy it anymore. It's because of the Ferrari license. Sega doesn't sell it anymore.
It's expensive.
And I know it's on the PC. It's abandonware now, so you can just freely download it from an abandonware site. And there's people who actually maintain it, so it will run on Windows 10. So I actually want to try it because I heard that it's one of the best racing games out there, and if the original Outrun is any, if it's as good as the original or better, then I would certainly really love that game.
Sure, yeah, I definitely would recommend, if you have a means to play it, check out Outrun 2, especially since we all enjoyed Outrun so much. Mr. Mullet, do you have any kind of follow-up games that you think are worth checking into?
These aren't generally my jam, my genre, but I think that's one of the benefits of the Cartridge Club is to get out and branch out and play other games that you don't normally play. So that's why I enjoy at times partaking in some of the monthly game of the months, so to speak. But I think if you go back into like some of our rail shooters like Star Fox or Sin and Punishment, I think they have some of the similar feels, and those are both fantastic games. So, and when you're combining it with Space Harrier, you can see that perhaps they picked up some of the influence from that game.
Yeah. And speaking of Space Harrier, I do want to mention this one. I believe this is a Yu Suzuki game. It came out a couple years ago. And if you love Queen, the music by Queen, it's not really by them, but it sounds a lot like them. You will definitely enjoy a game called Air Twister. It's definitely a Space Harrier inspired game on modern platforms called Air Twister. Give that one a try too. So with that, I do want to mention just a couple things about the games that we did play. These games are all over the place. We've covered Owazrim, played them on the Master System. Mr. Mullet, Wiedo, you played it on Sega Ages. 32X, we played it on there. It turns out all four of these are also available on the Sega Genesis. That's an interesting in-between the arcade and the Master System, where they're pretty good. They're certainly better than the Master System. The 32X versions of Afterburner and Space Harrier are excellent. Same with the Sega Saturn. They're almost arcade perfect. And these games came out on some other systems too. We mentioned Space Harrier on the Famicom. There's an Afterburner on the NES. These games came out in a collection on the Game Boy Advance, which are pretty good. TurboGrafx 16. So these games are all over the place, and it shouldn't be hard to find a good version to play. So everyone recommended Outrun, right? And Space Harrier. Those are two great games, and they can be played all over the place. So, and there are new spin-offs like Air Twister and Outrun 2 and Power Drift if you can get it. And I think even games like Horizon Chase Turbo or something. There's some recent games that have come out that were clearly inspired by Outrun. So
Virtua Racing is also by Yu Suzuki, and it also has a Sega Ages port on Switch, which you can play like 32 players or something, like multiplayer, or it's insane, which is also similar-ish as Outrun, I guess. It's also a cool game.
Final thoughts on these games. Things like worth playing today. We recommended Outrun. Go ahead. Anybody have any comments we want to wrap up with?
I would wishlist Outrun and Space Harrier for Switch. If you have a Switch, then I would wishlist them and buy them when they're. I think sometimes they're 80% off, and then there's like $2 or $3, and then you have a great time. Even if it's only for 3 hours or 2 hours, it's worth it just to check them out. And I think these versions are the most accessible. So I would recommend everybody just to check them out that way. And if you like those versions, maybe go back to the older version.
Yeah, I second Wiedo.
Yeah, I do too. Give them a shot.
Okay, so that is going to do it for this episode of the Cartridge Club Game of the Month podcast. Let's quickly mention a few of our upcoming games. Next month is FPS February, and the club Patreons have chosen Cyberpunk 2077. March brings another March Madness, this time focusing on the SNES. And finally, in April, we're playing Okami. Again, if you'd like to get involved with the club, I'd encourage you to follow us on X, formerly Twitter, at Cartridge Club NA. You can also visit our Discord for all kinds of discussion about past, present, and future games of the month. To those of you interested in supporting the club beyond a review on the podcast app of your choice, I'd like to mention that the club is entirely funded by pledges made from members of our community. We are extremely grateful to those supporters, and if you're interested in becoming one of them, please look into how you can do that at patreon.com/Cartridge Club. All right, Wiedo, thank you for being here, and tell us again where we can find you.
Thanks for having me. yeah, you can find me on Blue Sky on Wiedo.nl. And you can listen to me on the New Game Old Flame podcast, which you can find everywhere. We were a bit on a hiatus, but now we finally recorded a new episode, so we'll be on schedule now. Also, you can play my Quake maps. Recently, Quake Brutalist Jam 3 came out, and you can play that for free even if you don't own Quake. So just download that, and I made 2 maps for that, and it's just a blast. Yeah.
Great. All right, thank you. And Mr. Mullet, thank you for being here, and tell us where we can find you.
Yeah, thanks again for having me. So primarily on YouTube, Mr. Mullet Gaming. I try to stream every Saturday evenings around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I've combined a little things here and there. Like now I have a vodcast where I bring a individual on. We talk a little bit, then we play a game together. So that's been a lot of fun. And then I have RPG review videos, and then I try to release daily shorts of my streams, just some highlights there. So just YouTube, Mr. Mullet Gaming. Thanks again.
All right, and Owazrim, thank you for being here, and where can we find you?
Thanks for having me. It's always fun. You can just find me as Owazrim on Twitter or X, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. I already said that. Facebook. All just Bing, DuckDuckGo, Google Owazrim. You'll find me somewhere.
All right, great. And you can find me and Eric on YouTube. We have a channel called The Mighty QDawg, and that's DAWG. And Eric, where can they find you?
I'm on Twitter at Mighty QDawg and Blue Sky, and you can find us in the Discord, the Cartridge Club Discord too. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can find me as Mrs. QDawg, again DAWG, in the same places. All right, then to everyone listening, we look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you for joining us. CC Unite.
CC Unite.
CC Unite.
Unite.
Unite. I love it.